markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Street. Asian shares are mixed Friday, tracking Wall Street's tech-led rally as investors await a key U.S. inflation report for fresh clues on the Federal Reserve's rate path. Japan's Nikkei, South Korea's Kospi, and Australia's ASX are in the red. Other major regional indexes are higher. On currencies, the U.S. dollar is steady against the yen and Hong Kong dollar. It rises against the Singapore dollar, the South Korean won, and the Thai baht, while the Australian dollar gains on the greenback. In commodities, gold slips nearly 0.2%, while oil prices also fall. In crypto, Bitcoin drops 0.5%, while Ethereum edges up almost 0.3%. The district engineer arrested for trying to bribe Batangas Congressman Leandro Leviste has posted bail. DPWH district engineer Abelardo Calalo was released Thursday after posting a 150,000 peso bail. He was arrested last week after he allegedly offered more than 3 million in cash to stop a probe into anomalous infrastructure projects. Leviste hopes Calalo will turn state witness and implicate higher-ranking officials behind anomalous projects. President Bongbong Marcos is ready to undergo a lifestyle check. Palace press officer Claire Castro made a statement when asked about calls for Marcos to submit to such a check. She emphasized that all members of the executive branch are also prepared to do the same. Senator Risa Ontiveros earlier said she expects Marcos to set an example by undergoing a lifestyle check amid the Ghost Flood Project scandal. The Quezon City government discovers alleged anomalies in DPWH flood control projects in the city. In a news briefing today, Mayor Joy Belmonte revealed that more than 200 DPWH projects worth 14 billion pesos were not coordinated with the local government. She added that 7 of the top 15 contractors identified by President Marcos also had projects in the city.
May mga projects din na dineklara ng completed, pero nung binisita namin ang site, nakita namin na ongoing pa ang pagpapagawa. May mga proyektong hinati sa napakaraming phases. Meron pa ngang umabot ng 66 phases. Masyadong generic ang project titles. Ang title lang, Rehabilitation of Flood Mitigation Structure along San Juan River. Saan banda kaya yung phases 1 to 66? 7 sa top 15 contractors sa listahan ng Pangulo ay may proyekto din dito sa lungsod.
The mayor said they will continue to gather information on these projects. As it comes under fire for anomalous and non-existent flood control projects, the DPWH issues a travel ban for its officials and personnel, citing the ongoing validation of projects. The agency says only those who have a medical emergency will be exempted from the travel ban, which will take effect until the end of November. The House of Representatives slams Vice President Sara Duterte's remark that the flood control probe is just a, quote, sarswela. House spokesperson Princess Abante stressed they take the investigation seriously, citing the Quadcom, Tricom, and Quintacom hearings held in the 19th Congress. She said the role of the House should not be reduced to a joke. Abante also responded to the Vice President's call to probe the 2024 budget amid allegations that lawmakers control funds at the Education Department. She stressed VP Sara should present evidence before Congress. Davao City Representative Paulo Duterte fires back at critics, saying that all infrastructure projects in his city are above board. Joan Manalo has the details.
Davao City 1st District Representative Paulo Duterte says all his projects are properly implemented and completed. This after Manila 6th District Representative Benny Abante urged acting Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte to look into the funding of Davao City's infrastructure projects.
Tanungin niya yung kanyang kapatid na congressman, magkano ba ang pondong nakuha ni Congressman Pulong nung congressman siya nung panahon ng kanyang father? Magkano po yung nakuha? I-reveal niya kung magkano, kung saan ginamit ang pondong yan, kung paano ginamit yan, kung ilang bilyon ang napunta sa flood control project, at kung bakit malaki pa ang baha at Davao.
In a statement, Paulo said he is directing the DPWH district and regional offices in Davao to release the official data and amounts spent. He further stressed that there are no ghost or non-existing projects in his district, adding that floods in Davao City subside quickly compared to other areas. Baste earlier claimed that the Marquez administration's probe into anomalous flood control projects is merely a PR stunt. Hence, Abante challenged him to prove his statement.
Kung talagang PR stunt to, patanayan niya kung talagang PR stunt to or may katotohanan na sinasabi.
Paulo then responded, calling on Abante not to drag his brother's name into the issue and reiterating that their projects have been transparent and records are accessible. Meanwhile, House Public Accounts Committee Chairperson Ridon also challenged Baste to return to the country, as the latter is currently in The Hague with his siblings to visit the detained former President Rodrigo Duterte. Ridon stressed that mayors must be present during times of crisis.
Very important din po definitely na makita rin ho natin yung pong impact ng mga flood control systems within Davao City and within Davao region. Kasi I'm quite certain malaki din po talaga yung pondo na iginugol within this administration and more particularly in the previous administration.
This comes after reports showing that parts of Davao City were submerged in floods due to heavy rains from recent weather disturbances. Joan Manalo, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
We're taking a short break. More business stories are up next. You're watching Business Brief. The state-run Social Security system is looking to invest part of its funds overseas. SSS President and CEO Robert Joseph De Claro told Bilyonaryo.com the pension fund is taking a, quote, slow but sure approach in exploring cross-border investments. He adds he prefers a Philippine financial institution to handle their foreign portfolio. Currently, the fund's only dollar-denominated investments are Philippine government bonds. In 2018, the SSS tapped local fund managers to handle 9 billion pesos of its reserve fund, which stood at 8.352 billion pesos by end 2023. That same year, it also invested in mutual funds worth 5.833 billion. He expects net income to hit 100 billion pesos this year, up from 89 billion in 2024. The Energy Regulatory Commission has revoked the power supply agreement of Villar-owned SI Power Corporation, or SIPCOR, over its failure to address Siquijor's power woes. In its decision, the ERC said it received a series of complaints from April 2024 to May 2025 about frequent and prolonged outages in the province. These culminated in the provincial board declaring a state of calamity last June 3. ERC Chairman Francis Juan personally delivered the closure order to Siquijor Island Power Corporation today. The country's biggest sustainability expo, SUSTEX 2025, has officially opened, marking the 40th anniversary of SM Supermalls. Sujin Kim joins us on the line for the details. Go ahead, Sujin.
Yes, Mai, the Department of Science and Technology and SM Prime launched Sustex 2025, the country's biggest sustainability expo, coinciding with the 40th anniversary of SM Supermalls. The two-day event gathers more than 50 local scientists to present innovations on waste management, water conservation, energy efficiency, air quality, and disaster resilience. The European Union also presented its Circular Economy Action Plan, designed to help the private sector align with global green standards. SM Prime said the expo is part of its Waste-Free Future campaign, which aims to achieve net zero waste by 2040. The company highlighted new technologies under development, including a rooftop cooling system now being installed at SM Megamall to lower energy consumption across the complex. DOST underscored that businesses must shift from short-term campaigns to tangible, measurable goals, warning that investors worldwide are prioritizing green businesses and that companies who move early on sustainability will be the market leaders of tomorrow.
Businesses must set their sights on real, tangible goals, not pretty brochures, not slogans, but numbers you can measure, promises you can check. Data empowers delivery of services, and delivery improves and saves lives. We need partnerships that last longer than ribbon cuttings, industry with government, academia, and communities.
Public-private partnership such as this shows how science and business can unite to address some of the most pressing environmental changes of our time. We encourage more of this as private sector can provide support to projects by local scientists.
SM Prime stressed that public-private partnerships remain essential in addressing climate risks, pointing out that even costly projects can prove profitable in the long run when they combine scientific research with private sector investments. And those are latest updates from Taguig City. Back to you, Mai.
Thanks for that report, Sujin Kim. Motorists should prepare for higher pump prices next week. Gasoline is expected to rise by around 60 centavos per liter, diesel by around 1 peso, and kerosene by about 50 centavos. Rodela Romero, Assistant Director of the Energy Department's Oil Industry Management Bureau, cites a bigger than expected drop in U.S. inventories and the potential impact of new U.S. tariffs on India as factors behind the increase. Ayala Land Incorporated has secured a 12.87 billion peso or $225 million loan from the International Finance Corporation. The funding will support the development of 2 major malls and integrate sustainability and resilience measures across its buildings and commercial properties. In a statement, IFC said the loan will finance Greenbelt 1 in Makati and Ayala Mall's Evo City in Cavite, 2 large-scale projects with a combined gross leasable area of 89,000 square meters. The IFC will also work with Ayala Land to apply its Building Resilience Index across 50 of the developer's commercial and industrial properties. This follows a 14.5 billion peso sustainability-linked loan in 2024 aimed at helping Ayala Land decarbonize its real estate portfolio. More cars, more cash. SMC Tollways posts a 3% profit jump to 4.9 billion pesos in the first half. Revenues rose 5% to 11 billion as traffic picked up across all vehicle classes in the second quarter. The Skyway carried an average of 286,000 vehicles a day, up 3%, while Skyway Stage 3 surged 9% to more than 176,000 vehicles. Expenses inched up just 2%, mostly from new project costs like amortization and maintenance. Next up, SMC is pumping 50 billion pesos into South Luzon Expressway Toll Road 4, a game changer that will slash travel time from Batangas to Quezon to just 45 minutes by 2026 and unlock new growth across Southern Luzon. Bilyonaryo miner Joseph C. steps aside as chairman of Global Ferronickel Holdings Incorporated, the country's second largest nickel producer and a major supplier to the global battery industry. The board approved C's voluntary leave to focus on personal legal matters, electing President Dante Bravo as the new chairman. It also created a vice chairman post filled by lead independent director Jaime Del Rosario. C is currently detained in Camp Bagong Diwa over questions on his Filipino citizenship. The shakeup comes as demand for nickel surges worldwide, with the Philippines positioned as a key player in the electric vehicle supply chain. Any leadership uncertainty at FNI could impact investor sentiment and the country's mining outlook. On Thursday, FNI shares slipped nearly 0.8% to 1.29 each, a reminder that market confidence hangs on both global demand and stability at the time. The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry says the country's banana industry faces serious challenges, including uncompetitive tariffs and growers downsizing their operations. In an interview on BNC's Business 360, Agricultural Committee Chair Paul Cuyegkeng urged government action to remove tariffs, which currently put Philippine exporters at a disadvantage against rival countries like Vietnam and Cambodia.
Our main concern is the tariff, because if we don't get rid of that tariff, we are not competitive.
He also highlighted the impact of climate change, which is affecting supply, water management, and increasing pests and diseases in banana farms. He then called for better water management and a mandatory program for banana growers to improve standards and deal with these issues.
I would consider it at least one of the top 5 worst time in the banana industry. I mean, there is, aside from the pathogens and the fusarium and the cigatoka, we do have changing markets and geopolitics. So it's I would consider it one of the top 5.
We're taking another breather and look at how Philippine shares did today when we return. Stay tuned. You're back on Business Brief. The Trump administration is scrapping a rule that allows packages valued at $800 or below to enter the United States duty-free. These packages will instead be subject to the tariff level applicable to their country of origin or face a specific duty ranging from $80 to $200 per item. The move aims to stop the flow of narcotics and other dangerous items into the country. At the same time, it can provide additional revenue. Postal services in several countries, including France, Germany, Australia, and Japan, said most U.S.-bound packages will no longer be accepted. U.S. Senator Roger Wicker arrives in Taiwan amid rising tensions with China. Wicker, who is the chairman of the Senate Armed Forces Committee, says his visit aims to reinforce the great partnership between the U.S. and Taiwan. Last month, the Chinese embassy urged Wicker and other lawmakers to cancel their trip. Beijing, which claims Taiwan as its territory.
We're here to talk to our friends and allies in Taiwan about what we're doing to enhance worldwide peace, the kind of peace through strength that Ronald Reagan talked about. We stand here to reemphasize the partnership and the security friendship agreement that the United States has had with Taiwan for some decades.
Philippine shares fell for a second straight day despite the Bangko Central's cutting the policy rate by 25 basis points. The PSE index ended lower by 0.5%, closing at 61.55, making it the second worst performer in Asia. Majority of the sectoral indices ended in the red, with property falling the most, and it's down nearly 1%. Decliners outpaced advancers at 113 to 89. Total value turnover reached 6.8 billion pesos. Week on week, the PSEI dropped by 2%. Majority of the day's most active stocks ended in the red, with DigiPlus falling the most at nearly 7%. In the foreign exchange market, the peso is currently trading at 56.99 to the dollar, stronger than its previous close of 57.12. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again next week as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business. Only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. I'll see you then.